What's the gospel according to Gilgal and Bokim, which we see in Judges 2 verse 1. The angel of the Lord went up from Gilgal to Bokim and said. Both these names are important in the symbolism of these places. Gilgal, rolling, the place where the foreskins rolled off the Israelites. It was a place of commitment to the Lord and of knowing God's grace. That was where Israel began in lots of ways, as the high point. But as we've seen through this chapter 1 and into chapter 2, that's not what happens. That's not where they stay. Having made a good start, Israel make all kinds of compromises and give way to all kinds of fears and unbelief, and so they end up in a place of Bokim, in a place of weeping, and so the tears roll down their faces. It's a different kind of situation of rolling, and that's where the angel of the Lord comes to them, and the angel of the Lord brings an evaluation of them and conviction of sin, and shows them how they're in a desperate situation, and that causes more weeping, causes these tears to flow. But then it leads to the Israelites making sacrifice and standing under God's provision for sinners, where they take the sacrifices and identify with the sacrifice, laying their hands on the sacrifice and saying, yes, Lord, you're right, I deserve your judgment, but Lord, would you take this offering and pour your wrath on it instead of me, and please would you re-accept me as your worshipper, as this the blood is spilled, death is died, and then the sacrifice ascends to heaven, and the Lord is pleased to accept those sacrifices. In Leviticus there's a lovely refrain, and you shall be forgiven, and you shall be forgiven, and you shall be forgiven. And so that's the shape of the gospel, isn't it? We've seen how in another video how the angel of the Lord is the pre-incarnate Son of God, and he comes, and Jesus comes to us, the Son, and he convicts us of our sin. He shows us where we've gone wrong and how we've lived away from God and under his judgment and wrath. And so from a place where we may feel like we're rolling along just fine, actually we realise no, we're in a bad way, and there are many reasons to weep. But then the good news comes to us of how Jesus himself has died on the cross as the sacrifice for sin. And so then we can come and offer his sacrifice to the Father and say, we deserve to die, but Jesus died in my place. I trust him. I identify with him. May he count for me. May my life be hidden in his. And then we are forgiven, and those tears are wiped away, and we are restored by the Lord. And that is really, really good news.